This is Commander Shepard. You're listening to the Rated NA podcast, and this is my favorite podcast on the Citadel.
Welcome to Rated NA episode number 70 for the website nerdappropriate.com, where we talk about all things nerdy, including games, movies, TV, comics, and so much more. Today is a very special episode. Ash, why don't you tell us why?
Yes, so we're going to talk to Jennifer Hale, who is the voice of female Commander Shepard in Mass Effect, and we've been trying to get this one for quite some time, and we are really, really excited to share it with you.
Super awesome.
Super awesome indeed. And I have a feeling that we might be having some new listeners on this podcast because we have Jennifer Hale on the show. So I'd also like to give a shout out to Jimmy Henson, otherwise known as Big Giant Circles, who is the composer of our theme song for the Rated NA podcast.
Which is amazing. And you can go to his Bandcamp and grab that song and download it to listen to.
And for the record, he was also one of the composers on Mass Effect 2, and he was super cool enough to give us that music. So we love him for it. Lots of love and hugs.
This is awesome.
Yes. Go follow him on Twitter as well. So Big Giant Circles.
Let's do the rundown.
You know, since this is going to be an odd sort of episode, the bulk of the episode is going to be our interview with Jennifer Hale. We are going to talk for just a few minutes and see how everybody's been doing, what's been going on, and then we'll toss to the interview and then come back when we're done.
So what have you guys been up to?
I just got Risen 2.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that.
Just got Orcs Must Die too, which I'm hoping somebody else picks up on Steam so I can do some co-op adventures.
I unlocked a Paladin with my special ME3 unlock. Yeah.
Awesome.
What? I got a Destroyer. I don't play Soldier.
I'm so jealous of your Destroyer. I did get the Ninja guy though.
You did?
Shadow.
You did?
Oh,
Yeah.
you motherfucker.
Oh, that's the one I
looking
wanted.
for.
Well, I actually didn't get him in my pack, but Scott and I did like 2 gold matches, and I had enough to buy one.
I saw you guys get on, and I was watching The Wire, and I could not pull myself away from The Wire.
That's what Ash said you were
It's
doing.
so fucking good. It's so fucking good. I can't describe in words how good that show is.
So here's the thing, Matt. Did you watch The Newsroom this week?
I have not seen episode 6. No,
Pretty
I gotta
good.
watch it. Yeah.
Oh,
No
man.
spoilers.
Pretty good.
It was so good. It was like one of the best episodes of a TV show ever that I've seen in a while.
Have you watched The Wire?
I have not watched The Wire. I promise I will watch it because you're
The
like
Wire
over the
is
moon
the
about it.
bar. Yeah, the
Season-
bar that everything else.
So I will say season 2 of The Wire, which is what I'm like most of the way through right now, is not quite as good as season 1, but season 1 is quite possibly the best season of TV ever done, period.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, you need to watch The
Okay.
Newsroom because you already like it, and I know you're a fan
Yeah.
of Sorkin. So you need to watch episode 6 or
I'm
whatever.
also
the last
curious. I'm curious how you feel about Olivia Munn's performance, because I was actually pretty impressed.
She
Yeah,
doesn't-
like blown
she
away.
doesn't bother me like she bothers everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did
not
you
that
see
she
her
bothers
on Fallon?
everybody, but no, I didn't.
Fallon?
She good on
No.
She was on she was on Fallon recently, and she was really funny. Like
Yeah.
genuinely funny. Like, sometimes I get to the point with her where I'm like, you know what? I'm done with her and I want to hate her. And then you see her on Fallon and I'm like, fine, you're funny. I'm
why
sorry.
that is though. She has like a really long relationship with Gavin Purcell, who is the producer of Fallon, who used to be the producer on Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
So when she walks in there, it's like walking, into her living room. So
Yeah, but I think she is genuinely a funny. She gets a lot of hate, and I don't always understand it. Like, I got a little tired of the shtick of Attack of the Show with Kevin and her at some point, but I never disliked the two people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she's still to this day. It's that whole, and we've been watching it on Twitter. This whole fake or real geek girl thing, and
Oh God, I hate that.
and it's just stupid. It's pointless and it's dumb and it proves nothing. And I think that she's genuinely funny. I think she's genuinely, a decent actress. So I think with the right roles, she does really well.
Agreed.
I would just like to say that today,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a dramatic pause.
Oh.
Okay.
Somebody told me on Twitter that I am not a gamer nor a marketer.
What?
Well, you know,
And you should ignore them.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't act like I didn't tell you guys before.
Well,
I've been bitching about it all
I hear
day.
about this before. This is the first
you
I've heard.
I
of
know,
it.
wanked,
Matt.
man.
I know.
Well,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
internet is a horrible, horrible place, and
It
it's where I
is.
make all my money. So
It can. What you're saying is you have cam shows that if anybody wants to see a Matt cam show, just
It's pretty-
send Matt at nerdappropriate.com an email, and he
It's pretty
does
interesting.
private Skype shows.
most of it is me singing to my cat, and you know, watching The Wire. So if you're interested in me watching The Wire and making up songs to my cat, I sang Scott the one the other day about making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a
So-
good one.
I heard it.
So I think we should be exposed to this wonderful styling of yours because we had I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but there's some singing coming up in an interview that we might be showing later. So maybe you could sing us a song.
You just have to be around him enough. and it
I
just
know
happens.
it really kind of
It's-
just happens on the fly.
It's more spontaneous than it is.
It's hard to explain. It's not that I'm embarrassed right now. I just don't. I don't.
It's like freestyling.
I sing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta
it's
feel
pretty
it.
amazing. You really have to. You just kind of have to be around a lot. See, so here's like I freelanced for a lot of years when I was in Florida. I freelanced for like 2 or 3 years, and when you live in your house and do literally nothing all the time except sit on a computer, and no one's around, you start talking and singing to your animals as if it's a normal thing to do. So I would just start walking around and singing songs to all the animals, just about things they were doing. You know, like my dog would be eating food, and I would sing a song about my dog eating food to my dog.
They like that.
Yeah.
They feel like they're in their own musical, in their minds. They're like, oh, this is my favorite part.
And the other day, I sang a song about
I'm a
peanut butter
hero.
and jelly getting into my belly. I think was what my song was.
Oh,
Yep.
Peanut butter and jelly get in my belly. I love it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good song.
That should be our first T-shirt. Nerd appropriate.
Peanut butter and
Get-
jelly
Get
into
in my belly.
No. Just nerd appropriate. Get in my belly.
Oh my god.
We'll get sued by Michael Myers.
We will.
Then he'll stab us.
He's
Wait.
a ruthless
Yeah.
Canadian.
So
This is an awesome podcast.
off
guys.
the rails already.
Yeah, always. I don't know what's happening right now. Yeah, there we go.
The
All
rundown.
right, guys, enjoy our fun interview with Jennifer Hale.
Anybody home?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. How are you?
You're here with all of us sans Matt, so we have Hillary and Scott and myself, and we are Nerd Appropriate. We're so incredibly excited to have you. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is going to be rated NA episode 70. So this is our, I guess, gosh, we're coming up on 2 years, and we've been trying to get you for a while now. So we are super stoked.
Sorry, I've been really busy.
Oh no, we've been talking about that. We're like, how does she even have time to do this? So we're like, elated that she found the time to do this. So thanks so much.
Yeah, it's 6 p.m. here, so there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of questions, some of which are from our community and some are from us, and we're just going to kind of plow through them. And so what's up? What are you up to now?
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you half of it.
Yeah.
Can I talk-
Please.
We just recorded. I can only talk about the animation stuff. We just recorded some Totally Spies. We are finishing up some Green Lantern episodes.
Awesome.
Cool.
Working on Shaolin Chronicles, which is fun, and yeah, just all that kind of stuff. And working on a really sweet project for Disney called Sophia the First.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, and then doing a little bit of traveling, a little bit of climbing, and having a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, we know you love the outdoor stuff. I was tweeting at you during Comic-Con, and you're sending pictures of or putting pictures on the internet of you on a horse, and I'm like, that actually looks kind of nice compared to what I'm looking at right now, which was a sea of bodies, right?
I was working.
Yeah, there you go, working.
It was Friday afternoon, and I just thought, oh, this is so nice. And I happened to whip my phone out as we were galloping up a hill, and I thought, gotta do it.
That's awesome.
Hi, everybody. Yeah.
So we're going to ask you some questions that kind of date back a while, and we kind of want to get a feel for what you were like as a kid, because we talk about everything on our podcast, not just video games or animation or movies. But when did you discover that you had the ability to use your voice in the way that you do and to make so many different voices? Did you use it for evil purposes is what I'm basically asking you.
I was incredibly shy as a kid. I was the kid that everybody made fun of. I had we moved to Ohio, like 4th grade through 8th grade, and I literally, I think I had one friend. I had a couple friends that came and went, like 2 or 3, but I was buddies with my dog, and I read books, and I was a giant dork. And I remember being in 7th grade, and they were talking about like commercials and marketing and advertising, trying to get us to understand that stuff. And the teacher was like, there was this old campaign with a guy who used to sell coffee, and she showed a picture of him, and can anybody remember his slogan? And I was so quiet in school. I was like, and involuntarily out of my mouth flies, "It's mountain grown." Everybody fell out laughing, and I was like, I just went around to swallow me. I was so mortified I'd said that out loud. It just flew out of my mouth. It was involuntary. But yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I was a bit of a shy kid myself. I had like such terrible stage fright. Like one time in 5th grade, they had me introduce the school holiday program, and I forgot all my lines. And like it was like a scene from a bad movie where everyone literally like stopped and started laughing at me because I blanked on stage in front of like hundreds of people. But it took me, I don't know, 20 years to get over it. So it seems like you got over yours a lot faster than I did.
Well, my thing too was singing. Like I used to go to camp in the summers because it was like my sanity, because I was outside, and I would sing there. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But as soon as I got out of there, I was like, no. It took me a few years to get that going, and then that came back again.
Awesome.
But yeah, it takes a while, coming out of I do voiceover. I don't do as much on camera.
Yeah.
Still hiding.
So Jennifer, I actually met you. I've met you a couple times, but most specifically, I met you at the Mass Effect 3 launch event, and I actually heard you sing, and it was fantastic. So, are you ever planning to do that professionally, or can we see a Jennifer Hale like album out? Because that would be amazing.
I'm kind of working on one, but it's a mixed bag, I used to started singing in clubs when I was about 15. What did I bust out at that? I think I was all obsessed with Eminem's new single. I love that riff, that I'm about to lose my mind. You've been gone for so long, I'm running out of time. That one?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God, that was so
Awesome.
awesome. Thank you.
Doctor, call me a doctor. God, it's a great riff. It's just
yes.
That's amazing.
That was fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, that was it. And I actually tripped when you did that, like physically tripped, because I was like, holy shit, she sings amazing.
So meaning you physically tripped and you were not on drugs is what you're trying to say.
No,
exactly.
I think I started singing in clubs when I was about 15. It was illegal, but I was the calmest, and I wasn't high. Everybody else in the band was high, so I seemed like I was a lot older than everybody. And plus, it was like Alabama, and it was a little not as harsh as it can be in some of the big cities. But I started singing in clubs when I was about 15, and just kept doing it for years, and then acting just took over and kept me busy. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing.
That's actually a perfect segue, because we had a question here that was asking you about your very, very, very first acting gig, and kind of how you look back upon that first acting gig. Did you enjoy it? Were you terrified? Do you remember what it was like going in there for the first time?
Yes, and yes. It's interesting. It depends on how you define that, because I had like, my mom took me into audition for a fine arts high school when I was 13, and I had to sort of sing for my supper there, and I had to memorize this audition and do it like the next day. I think it was bad. I was like 1 o'clock in the morning memorizing my stuff to do audition the next day. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I got in, which was crazy. And then so that was sort of the first, gig where I had to sing for my supper. The next one, when I was in high school, I needed to pay for college, so I auditioned for a theater scholarship, and that was actually one of my favorite auditions I've ever done. That was the very first time I ever felt the muse like pick me up and take me. It was this the character was Clytemnestra. She was like the antagonist, if you will, in Agamemnon, or in this particular moment in Agamemnon. It's an old Greek play. And man, it was just an awesome sensation to feel that whoosh. It was incredible. And then after that, it was my first paid gig, like money, cash money. I think oh my gosh. It was a commercial for Bargain Town USA, which
wow.
was
Wow.
an outlet place outside of Birmingham, Alabama. And my boyfriend's mom, Jane Trexel, she's an incredible actress. She's amazing. She got me the audition. I got the gig. And that led to me working at a video studio that was next door to an audio studio called Boutwell Studios. And I would run over there and do voiceovers for commercials, cartoons and stuff. Or commercials, not cartoons. Commercials, because I could speak without an accent. And it was down south. And I was just stunned they'd pay me $30 for that. I was like, you're kidding me.
That's amazing.
So I made a demo tape, and I made the guys, Greg and Courtney, teach me over and over again how to do it better, how to do it better, how to do it better, which I'm still making people do. Oh, wow. And I went door to door from ad agency to ad agency with my little demo tape going, hi, here's my demo tape. It was so funny.
Wow.
But there was no agents in town, you know. I just treated it like a business. I was like, I want to make some money, and this is a good way to do it. And I got to pay my way. I got to pay my rent. So let's go.
That's incredible. So we were curious about, I mean, your career is pretty amazing. Like if you look at your IMDb page, you've done everything, and
so cool.
we've played like, you know, as many of your games as we possibly can, and still have like jobs. So you're in a ton of games, you're in a ton of animation. We were curious, without naming any names, obviously, what were some of the hardest or worst jobs you've ever done, and for what reason were they the worst or the hardest?
Hardest job, worst job, going door to door with an extension ladder to wash windows to make money to buy a PA for the band.
There you
Wow.
go.
Let's see. After that, nothing was bad. Honestly, nothing. I mean, I get to do this for a living. The hardest jobs are where people don't know what they want, and they're not open to hearing it when something cool lands in the room.
Yeah.
You know, those are the hardest jobs. Second, also hardest jobs are when someone thinks they know better than you do how to do your job, which is great when they do, but when they don't. I remember I was on an ad campaign that I'd had for 10 years. I was the voice of the company for 10 years, and we were on our third ad agency, and I loved this company. I know this, I still, you know, every now and then I'll hear from the CEO or the former owner of the company. I love this company. And I was in the session, and there was a new producer, and he had just taken like some voiceover classes or something. And he had probably 10 years less experience, 12 years less experience than I did at the time.
Oh, wow.
And we had the commercial on the second take. We had it done on the second take. I could tell. He wanted a few more, which is not a problem. 85 takes later.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Oh, what?
We were done. And my job there is just to go, okay, what do you want different? I don't know, just do something else. Okay. You know, versus, I don't know, try something else. You know, that's a totally different, that's like Chris Brown or somebody, I could hear her saying that, or, you know, any of the directors that I adore, Jenny McSwain, any of them, I could hear them saying that. But, you know, when someone's like, I don't know, they just want to grind you down.
Yeah.
Those, you know what? I'm there, and I'm not in physical pain. I'm not outside under incredibly difficult conditions. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes. Pretty much anything after that is gravy.
That's awesome.
You know,
there is a certain level of fatigue, though. I mean, we're lucky enough to have people like Allie Hillis on the show, who speaks of you so incredibly highly, and Tara Platt we've had on, who also speaks of you very highly. And you know, they both mentioned when we interviewed them that, you know, sometimes you just get so incredibly exhausted from using your voice all day. What do you do to kind of keep in shape? I mean, granted, you're working like pretty much year round, so what do you do to actually stay, you know, without losing your voice?
Well, I have bits where like I might not do a game for a couple weeks or 3 weeks or something, and then I'm back on a game. Like I went to Australia for 2.5 weeks. I came back and boom, hit the ground running, and I had session after session after session. And man, after not doing them, the hardest part for me is the mental focus, because it's my job, I believe, to keep myself in really good shape, to stay healthy, which for me, for this body that I have, means eating well, you know, staying strong physically, like I try to climb or do yoga or ride a bike or do something at least 6 days a week.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
And
making me look bad.
Me too. Wow, I'm hiding now.
This is a machine. If we had a car and we put hamburgers and donuts in it and then wanted it to go drive a track really well, it's not going to last. And I want another at least 50 years out of this body. So I have to treat it well. Plus my job, if I'm sick, I'm not working.
Yeah.
So it's to stay healthy, don't ingest things that the body doesn't like. That's my number one thing. And then my best tool came from when I was singing in bands. I was about 16, maybe 17. And my band got the cool gig, 'cause I think it paid okay. I think we actually got paid. But it was also a very difficult gig because it was 6 hours a night for 6 nights in a row. And you started at 10 p.m. So you go for 6 hours. So every singer in town lost their voice. And I was bound and determined I wasn't going to. So I ran my butt over to a classical voice teacher and got trained how to support all that stuff, which I still will go back from time to time to different teachers and get instructions. So that helps in those sessions where you got to scream and yell and do stuff.
That's incredible.
What kind of music? Sorry, what kind of music did you sing for 6 hours a night? I don't think you ever mentioned what the band was.
He speaks.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's our audio producer, so he normally stays in the background and is intellectual and stuff.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
Hey. We did rock and roll. We did everything from originals to like just cool cover stuff. I mean, I've done like Garbage and Hole and Zeppelin and Blondie, anything. But also I love like Sean Colvin and stuff too. I love the more acoustic stuff. Anna Nolick, that hit she had was such a great song, Breathe, all that kind of thing. Just anything. Anything I can sing. Yeah.
Cool.
So when you're prepared, sorry about that. Okay. I'm just going to jump in. So when you first get a script and you're trying to understand the character that you're going to play, do you have a process in how you kind of figure out, what does this person sound like? What's their intonation? Or, do you kind of go through and try to like put yourself in their shoes? Can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah. In games, we rarely get a script. We rarely ever get a script because the confidentiality issues plus there are organizational issues. And there are some amazing producers that will actually get you a script ahead of time, which is a beautiful thing. But most of the time we don't. We get a character description. We get some sides, which is when they select certain bits of dialogue from the game and put together maybe a page or two for you, sometimes 3. But you don't often get to see the other character's dialogue, which is kind of important because you need to know how you respond to what they've said. Just kind of I take all that information they give me, and I go largely on instinct, which takes me for myself to like the core of my humanity. Like, we all want stuff. We all hate stuff. We all, laugh about stuff and cry about stuff. We all have those feelings. So where's my commonality? And where's this person like me? Where's this person different from me? How do they get what they want? Like a shepherd, she's very specific in how she gets what she wants. She's military. And she would never cry in order to manipulate a situation to get what she wanted. It's just not going to happen. But, someone else might, like Aaliyah, Aaliyah in Diablo 3, she might break down and get emotional because she just doesn't know what else to do. That would happen. But it's very specific. I sort of take myself and I eliminate this piece and that piece and that piece and that piece. And it's really all about the writer. It comes from the writer. It comes from the writer's spirit and what's on that page. That is what is there for me. And then it's filtered through the director and the producer. And I rely heavily on them for context, to inform something. If I'm talking to you and I'm right here, that's very different than if I'm talking to you and I'm over here, And if you're in a game and someone's right here and they're talking to you like this, you're like, But I rely on the director. Like, where are we? What's our context? If I've just had a huge fight with somebody and we're on the outs and I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, that was remarkable. Right. And versus,
that's cool.
That was remarkable.
Very cool.
You'd have more emotional distance there too. So there are a million tiny details.
So it sounds like we know you've played tons and tons of different characters, from, like you said, from military characters to incredibly meek characters. There are a couple roles that really stand out in my head, but I'm curious what you're going to say. What are some of the most ridiculous or memorable characters that you think that you've played, or maybe some of the most ridiculous words or dialogue that you've read?
Oh, 'tis not mine to judge the dialogue. However, um, there's ridiculous characters. Some of my favorites are some of the Cartoon Network stuff we actually did,
Okay.
like the Princess Morbucks from Powerpuff Girls. You know, Daddy, I want to Powerpuff Girls, but you know, that
Oh my god, I love
That's
it.
incredible.
number 86 from Codename Kids Next Door, the Irish girl who screamed at everyone. You know, that, and characters like Billy's mom from Billy and Mandy. It's the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Grim and Evil is the show, and Chris Zimmerman, who directed a million games and all the iconic, she and Andrea Romano and Ginny McSwain, they direct, all the iconic games, and she directed Billy and Mandy, and I played Billy's mom, who flipped out constantly. It's just all she's always like, Billy, I don't know. And Chris's direction to me was always more Prozac, less Prozac. Okay.
Some excellent direction right there.
Oh, she just gives the most hilarious direction, and those things are great. And I love the Justice League stuff too, playing Giganta. I mean, the 50-foot woman in the 5-foot dress. Yeah. Hello,
that's amazing.
Doesn't get more fun. Yeah, and also on those shows, playing like 5 characters throughout the series and stuff. That's a blast as well. And doing things like Totally Spies, where I would play 2 characters who would fight with each other all the time. And
oh wow,
incredible!
Yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah, I remember literally sitting in front of my video game console and laughing out loud because I think a couple years ago, you played the character of Trishka Novak in Bulletstorm, who had
some of the craziest lines ever.
Okay, I was hoping you might bring that one up because I'm sitting there and I'm like, first of all, I was stoked that it was you because, over the years I've become a fan. And I was like, oh, cool, there's, Jennifer Hale part in this. And then you shouted something like, I'm going to shoot your dick. And I literally put my controller down and just started laughing out loud because it was incredible. And I hadn't really heard you say anything like that. So that was pretty awesome.
That's right. I was doing a big shout out to our director, Jamie, when you started saying that. I said, thank you, Jamie, because we were howling at some of these lines. It was so crazy. Great, he got me through it. It was so funny.
Well,
that was out there. Those were out there, some of those.
A lot of fun. So Hillary, go ahead. You have a question.
No, I was just going to say, I remember having an aha moment when I was playing Soul Calibur 4, and you played Tira or something, and her voice was just crazy. And I'm also playing Mass Effect at the time, hearing you as Shepard, and then hearing you, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, can this woman do like everything? And I mean, how do you approach something like that when you're given a character like Tira, where you have this crazy high pitched voice? Do they say try to sound insane, or do they? I mean, how do you go about doing that? You just kind of decide that that's the way that she's supposed to sound. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you. Well, we find the sound together. I mean, they throw stuff out, and then I come up with ideas, and then you sort of peel back the layers, and we all have levels of control, right? And these people, someone like Tira doesn't have that control, and you just peel that away, and you've got someone who's just falling apart at every turn, and it's just that's fun. That's fun to play because I guess if I think about it, I have had some very extreme experiences in my life in terms of, I suppose a bit of life and death and just some craziness going on around me. So it's great for the library. Yeah. It's great for the work library. It goes right into the work library. Yeah.
It's incredible.
That's amazing.
So we obviously have to talk about Commander Shepard a little bit because we're all like ridiculous super fans. And I've had Shepard. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago at Comic-Con, it might have been, no, the year before last, I actually met you, and I remember you were doing a signing at a booth on the floor, and I was with my wife, and I saw that you were signing there, and I was like, we have to come back, and that was the first time that I met you, and you were there.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I think I do. You were to my right.
Yes, I think I was. Yeah, so I totally I geeked out and had my wife is short. And yeah, so but you have some people that absolutely love you in this role, and there are entire websites like femshep.com that are devoted to your portrayal of Commander Shepard. Did you ever think that it was going to blow up like this when you first heard about this role? And like now, I mean, this is like one of the great female icons of video games.
Man,
I mean,
that's great to hear. That's very moving to hear, actually. Wow. No, I don't think about that. I don't see myself in that way, I guess. I see the project and I see the writers, because I said this many times before, but I really feel like I'm the ink in the pen. And if you look at the pen, I'm just the ink at the tip of the pen, because it takes writers and producers and directors and designers and everybody to make that pen happen. I'm just the part you see. And granted, if the ink's not flowing and it's crappy, the pen's not going to be so great. No one's going to use it. But without all the other parts, it wouldn't function either. So I'm the tip of the pen. But it is something where I threw my heart and soul in, big time. I do every time, honestly. It's just something where it came together and it went to a whole new level. And that people get that and see that is so uplifting. It's really funny. I wasn't aware that our last session was scheduled for the day that it was, and I went in to record, and I got there and they said, "Oh, it's the last session." I was like, "What?"
No,
Aww.
right? Oh my gosh.
At the end of 3, and I just put it out of my head. I was like, I'm in denial. And I made plans with Caroline and Mac, our producer, voice director, and Mac Walters, the lead writer on the series, and made plans with them when they came to LA for the launch party to see them. So I got to put off the ending thing. And then I went to the launch party, and that was just so great. And I was just, it was awesome. I went home, and the next day I was like, I had total postpartum depression.
Yeah, I mean it's a big chapter of your life, just doing that performance for so long, and you can definitely see. I mean, just from the gamer or player's perspective, you could see that the changes over the course of those games because of what was happening around her, and yeah.
And I tell you what lifted me up though was Twitter. I had just joined Twitter a couple months earlier, and everybody's response on Twitter, everybody's just connecting with me on Twitter, that it meant something to them, and it had landed for them. That made me feel great.
That's awesome. Yeah. It is a really powerful tool. It can be both good and bad, but hopefully you get only the good stuff. but yeah, we love Twitter as well, because it does allow us to communicate with people and stuff, and that's great. So we let's see, we have so many more questions. Let's see what we can do here. We have a nerd appropriate signature question that we ask of everyone, and this is you can answer this any way that you want, but we kind of believe that the term nerd just means that you're passionate about something, whether it be video games or movies, or I believe Courtney Taylor collects pens, exotic pens. I don't know. Floaty pens. Yeah, she collects floaty pens. So what do you have a nerdy hobby or passion that you're like almost too embarrassed to talk about, but you are willing to reveal it to our listeners?
Oh, I'm a nerd about everything.
Yeah.
That's my problem. That's why I was made so much fun of in school, I think. I care. I just care. Oh God. I'm a nerd about horses. I've become a real nerd about climbing. I'm obsessed with it. I'm a nerd about food and health. Like, I love that stuff. I love science. Ooh, I love science.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love numbers and math. And I love language. Like, I'm kind of the grammar police when I work. If I see something in the script that's grammatically incorrect, I'm like, you guys, just so you know, it's supposed to be this. I mean, I'll do it that way if you want, but it's kind of this. Such a pain in the butt.
Meanwhile, the writers are squirming like, uh-oh.
I don't spread bad grammar. It's just not right. It's morally wrong, But, and I'm a nerd about what I wish people would do. I don't know. I'm a nerd about everything.
That's a great answer. I mean, it just means you're extra nerdy, and we like you. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Awesome.
We do have some questions from our readers, and we're going to go through them and also give them shout outs, because they were super excited that we were going to get a chance to talk to you. And we love them for it. So the first question was from @AnnMan on Twitter. And she says, of all the characters that she's done you have done voice acting work for, which do you relate to the most, and why are you so awesome?
You know what? If I'm awesome, it's because of the writers and the directors and everybody else. It really, and you know what? And my peers, Dee Baker, Gray Delisle, everybody out there. I learned Rob Paulson, who, by the way, has a brilliant podcast, Talking Tunes on iTunes. If you have, for everybody watching, I know you guys, I think you're familiar. If everybody watching hasn't gone there, go to iTunes, download this podcast. Oh my God, some of those guys are so funny, you'll pee your pants.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's because of the people I work with. They're so great. I got to catch up. I got to keep up. What was the rest of it? Who do I relate to the most?
Yeah, all your characters.
Well, all of them, because it's my job to drop in and be them, and if I have to believe 1,000%, and we've all been everything, we just don't always want to admit it. We've all felt and thought, a lot. And it just happens to be my job description is to pull that back out and live it again. Having said that, Shepard is very close to my heart. All my Star Wars stuff, the fact that I get to play Aayla Secura, in Clone Wars.
She's great, by the way.
Thank you. And Rio Chuchi, I love her. I love working with Dave Filoni and that team. They're amazing. And I'm working on this project right now that I can't talk about. It's actually a project. It's just great to allow. There's so many great people involved, everybody. And we can't talk about it yet, but it's so great. It's so fun and so over the top and such a blast. Yeah. And Rob Paulson has a great quote, which is my favorite job is my next one.
Awesome.
I'll take that.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Hillary.
So I have to know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have to know. And I know that other people have wanted to know this too. You got to experience romancing every character as Shepard. Who is your favorite and why?
Right.
I'm sure you've never had that question before.
I get this question, and my answer is don't make me pick. But I don't know. I liked the Liara angle because it was very cool to be part of a same-sex option when there's not enough of that out there right yet. Mm-hmm. I think it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are as a people. And I think that it was nice to present that just as a relationship because Shepard was not written as a man or a woman. She's just a person. And so that relationship doesn't get all weirded out by, someone's concept of what it would be. I also have to say something about the way the goodbye scenes with Garrus were written.
They're so
they kicked my butt. I couldn't talk through some of them. I just have to wait a minute and then go ahead.
Yeah, the writers really nailed all those goodbye scenes. Were just incredible.
They were amazing, and Garrus in particular, something just picked up right there. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
Well, he was written as such like a the best friend you wish you had, like the guy that you can always count on and turn to. So that was, saying goodbye to that character, whether you romanced him or not, was a real big challenge.
Yeah, you take that's well put, and you take that and you add on top of it that you romanced him, you're like, okay, shoot me now, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hillary, why don't you ask the next one?
Sure. So Angela at Rumblechimp asks, will you sing a song at SAC Anime, or will you talk about Cinderella and then also that commander person? So I'm thinking there's some more requests for some vocal stylings.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Cinderella, everyone has to close your eyes, so I'll do this. Okay. Oh, that clock. Go on, get up, you say. Even he orders me around.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That is amazing.
Cinderella lives on her own. I am not her voice. She lives on her own. She just happens to pop in here and do that every now and then.
That's incredible.
And then I sang a minute ago, and Shepard we discussed. So Angela, you know what? Bring it up, and I'll knock it out for you.
Awesome.
I'll be there.
I have one from myself. What are your convention plans for the next 6 months, year? Do you know where you're going to be headed yet?
Yeah, I've got a couple booked. I haven't done that many. I think I've done like 4 or 5. And I'm excited. I'm going to go to SAC Anime. I just got a request to pop into PAX, which I don't know if I can do or not, because it's in the same weekend to SAC Anime. I might be able to make Friday morning at PAX and then go to Sacramento, but I'm not sure. I am not sure.
Yeah.
So check before you go, because I don't know if that's going to work time-wise and commitment-wise. But SAC Anime and then Canterlot Gardens, which I think is outside of Cleveland.
Okay.
And which will be a blast. It'll be an absolute blast. So that's all I've got scheduled right now. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we hope you go to PAX because we will be there, and we want to say hi and and do high fives and all the fun stuff. We can do like a jump in the air, slow motion, high five, all of us together. And
It's
so
I don't know if can you answer, is it for BioWare perhaps? Because I probably am working at the base with the BioWare team, so maybe I'll get to hang out with you again.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, if I do get to go, it would just be on the Friday. I'd have to leave, by like 1 o'clock, be in Friday morning, and it would be for bio. I'm not sure though. It's very, very dicey. It depends on flight schedules and availability at this point because I am solid booked SAC Anime, and I got to keep that commitment in the evening on Friday. So yeah, so I'll just have to see what works out. But yeah, I would love to see you.
Cool.
If
I know.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
That'd be so cool. We would love to see you as well. Well, your time with up, and we thank you so much for hanging out. And our listeners and readers are absolutely going to love this. So you were a blast to have on, and we hope to have you on in the future. And
let's do it again.
I know Allie Hillis had this idea to have both of you guys on at the same time, but getting you both at the same time is super challenging, and we want to do it so bad. So we'll figure it out, right?
What would be really fun is me, Allie Hillis, and Troy Baker all at the same time.
I would love it.
Oh wow,
We would love
that'd be phenomenal.
We'll take it. We'll hang out, tell silly stories. Well, you'll tell silly stories, and we'll record it and giggle.
We're good at giggling.
I loved it. Thank you. And huge thanks to everybody out there watching and reading and listening and all that. Thank you so much.
Cool.
And thanks to you guys for putting this together.
Thanks. Okay, so thank you guys so much for listening to our chat with Jennifer Hale. What did you guys think? That was pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
she's pretty incredible. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but she's like just the way that she has such a passion, not just for voice acting, but just like for everything that that is in her life, that it's kind of like inspiring to be around somebody like that has like that kind of energy, for everything, not just voice acting, but like health and exercise and science, like
yeah.
all
She
kinds
talked
of
about a
stuff
lot of really incredible stuff, and she seemed to genuinely love. She loves the industry. She loves working in it, and she has a lot of like respect for all the people that she works with, which is always nice to see. When artists don't take their jobs for granted, which is awesome. And
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like she's exceptionally talented in the fact that she's able to take things that happen in her life and kind of put them into her role. And then I just love how she talks about that. It was actually really inspiring just to hear, her process and how she, really looks at motivations and, looks at herself and pieces and parts away and kind of, creates something of herself in every character. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And like her early roots and like hearing her story of, how she discovered being like a super shy kid and how she ends up discovering that she does have this strange talent. That was really kind of cool to hear that. And also hearing her sing and hearing her do all those different voices just kind of out of the blue, you forget that she's done literally hundreds of roles and so many of them are so different, and it's just amazing to kind of see her just be able to channel that on the fly.
I wonder how she holds so much of that like in her mind at one time to be able, because she went through a couple of different characters throughout the course of the interview, and I don't know, that's just seems really impressive, to hold so much at one time. Absolutely. Without like any cueing or anything,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, and it's cool that she was able to do so many on the fly. I mean, it was just like she just like opened her mouth and it was there. It wasn't like hold on, I gotta hold on, It just boom, done.
I mean, she is widely regarded as the absolute best in the business, and for good reason. I mean, she's just she's amazing at what she does, and we were again super excited to have her on, and hopefully you guys heard that she would, we're working on getting a follow-up already, and hopefully we have that coming down the pipes within the next couple years for you all. So these things
we're here to stay.
Yes.
I'd just like to say, and real quick, I know that I was not here for the majority of it, but that this stuff always, I just hope it inspires people to go out and do stuff. Like, it's like when we talked about Indie Movie, the game, and things like, whenever you deal with such inspirational people, it's just, I hope people hear it and go and try new things, do new stuff with their lives. I think it's amazing. I think dealing with amazing people is always interesting. So.
Absolutely. And, not to get all sappy, but that is one of the main reasons why we started nerdappropriate.com a couple years ago, because we love creative and inspirational people, and we like to talk to them and we like to learn from them. And we were just a bunch of guys that love this stuff, and we're like, hell, let's just talk about it and have fun and record us hanging out. And so that's sort of how our podcast started. So
And now you have an awesome girl.
yes, yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted there. But
No,
it's just one of those things that I love hearing this stuff. It always inspires me to want to go out and create. So I hope it does the same for others.
Good.
But so you can catch up with us on Twitter at Nerd Appropriate. You can follow us on Facebook /Nerd Appropriate. And just join in on the conversation. We love it. If you comment on the site, we always tend to, within a few hours, comment back and get that conversation going. So please join in and talk.
Awesome.
And new episodes of Rated NA just about every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just about.
We do travel a bit. We are going to Star Wars Celebration. And after that, we're going to be going to PAX Prime.
Yep.
So, there might be delays in the podcast when we travel, but if you're there, look for us and say hi and, poke us and stuff like that.
Holler at us.
Poke. Is that still a thing on Facebook? Poking people?
I was thinking more of a literal poking.
So that is episode 70 for Rated NA, the podcast for nerdappropriate.com. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed the interview. We're going to always keep trying to bring you awesome stuff like this. So stick around.
Bye.
Fucking kidding me. It cut out right when Hillary was like, her theme song is...
Oh. She said Jim Henson.
You said Jim Henson.
I did. Okay, don't make me jump in. Oh my god.
I wish Jim Henson did her song. It's so nerd appropriate. Nerd appropriate. Nerd appropriate.
That's amazing. Oh my god. The Rainbow Connection. Why are there so many?
That was really good.
It
was extremely
you practiced that one before.
Oh my god.
I hurt everywhere right now.